Hey guys, I am back again so soon. You probably thought I was lying to you, didn't you? So I decided that I'm going to treat these videos like meal prep, which I sometimes suck at, but I'm getting better at. So that basically just means that I will try to just make a batch of videos and upload it as as time goes on. My music is not playing again. This happened in the last one. Okay, there we go. Still listening to Sunnyland because I still love it, and I made that last video 10 minutes ago. So, what was I talking? Oh, right. Okay. So yeah, I'm treating this like meal prep, and so yeah, you'll get a consistent stream of videos over the next couple of weeks. All right. So this one, it's entitled "The Things You Shouldn't Shouldn't Say to Blind People." What you should. I haven't decided quite yet what I'm going to title it, but it's about the things that you shouldn't say to blind people. And this is basically going to be me ranting. And it's going to be great because I love to rant, so yeah. I'm starting off with last Friday. So I was going to Six Flags this past weekend, and I needed to get my ticket printed. However, I forgot, so I got home after getting back from music school and whatever else I did that day, and so I had to go back outside. And the Staples that I wanted to go to apparently was closed, and the person told me the nearest one was on Union Square. And I really didn't feel like going that far. So I asked Siri about where the next one was. She told me there was one on 6th Avenue, and I wanted her to map it. However, she just gave me instructions. She didn't tell me where exactly it was. So I would have to just follow these instructions until I figured out, so I was on 23rd. So I'd have to follow these instructions to figure out whether it's on maybe 23rd or in the 30s. So I called them, but they're not answering, yada yada. I called them to find out the cross streets, and they're not answering. So I decided to take an Uber, or to see how much the Uber would cost. It was about $2, so I was so down for that. It would be a lot easier to find my way home than finding my way there. So, call the driver. They tell me what corner he's at. All right, I walk to it. I call him, and I told him, I'm at the specified corner. And he's like, well, I'm on the southwest side, and I'm like, okay, I'm on southeast. He's like, oh, you have to cross over, and I was like, yeah, I know, okay, whatever. So I cross over, I get there, and he's like, okay, well, I'm here, and I'm like, yes, but I'm blind, so I'll need you to look out for me. And he's like, but I'm right here. Sir, I'm blind, so I don't know where you are, I don't know where here is. And he's like, I'm right here in a black car. Dude, I'm blind! What part? I don't care if the car is black, red, green, or yellow if I said that I'm blind. Now, you guys know from past videos that I'm legally blind, I have a little bit of vision, whatever. But in these instances, it's just easier to say that I'm blind, because then after I spend 5 minutes explaining, yeah, I can see color and I can see a little bit of this and a little bit of that, he's just, they'd probably be like, well then, why can't you find me? So I'm like, sir, I'm blind, and we go through this, we fall silent, nothing's happening, okay? And I'm like, hello, and he's like, yes, I'm right here, I'm at the corner. And I think he beeped the horn, or no, he didn't beep the horn, otherwise I would have walked toward the sound. And I'm like, yes, and I'm blind, I can't see where you are. I don't know how much more explicit I can get. And so I think he looked back, or he got out of the car to maybe look for me. And he's like, oh, okay, you know, I see you, blah, blah, blah. He comes, he helps me to the car. I get in the car, and he's like, you need someone to help you. And I've gotten this before. I've gotten this a lot. People, I think traveling in high school to an after-school job, I was walking along the platform, and someone's like, she needs an aid. And I was just like, yeah, okay. Anyway, just gonna carry on with my life. And so this guy, he's like, you need someone to help you, you need an aid, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. And he's like, you couldn't even see the car. Well, sir, you couldn't even see me for a little while, so I don't know what one-upman game we're trying to play, but that doesn't mean anything. And he's like, how are you even gonna get home? And it's his tone is sort of scathing or scornful. He's entertained, like, oh, blind people trying to be independent. And I'm like, maps on my phone, and I'm gonna walk. And he's just, I don't remember what else he said, but it was just, I got in the car and I just kept my bag on. I was so ready to get out. So he picked up a few other people, and so the app tells me that they're going to drop me off at such and such corner. And I am okay, you know, I'm fine with that, whatever. So then the driver, he's like, okay, Lily, so what corner do you want me to drop you off at? The app said you're going to drop me off here. Oh, you didn't input where you want to be dropped off? No. And he's like, well, it says 17th Street and whatever now. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. He's like, you know where you are? Yes, I know where I am. Wherever it is, it's out of your car. And so he, like, we get out or whatever, and he's like, okay, like, are you fine? And so, like, I appreciated at the end there that he wanted to make sure that I was okay, but I did not appreciate how things started off. You know, well, how are you going to get home? You couldn't even see the car. No, I couldn't, but I managed to find the right corner, right? I knew what Southwest was. I crossed the street, didn't get hit by a car. And so this is just to launch my rant about the things you shouldn't say to blind people. That's one of them. You know, don't tell someone, if you were driving your car, I feel like I use this car analogy a lot. I just rearrange it to suit my needs. But if you're in your car and you're driving and I just, like, open the door, hop in and say, you need a driving instructor, who the F am I? And it's so weird that so many people think that they can impose themselves on my life rather. You don't know my situation, you don't know what I do, you don't know anything. I've been walking and people have come up to me and been like, you know, they've commented on, like, how confident I am walking to the city, and, you know, they would be terrified. But would you though? Because once you're blind, once your whatever disability it is and you're dealing with it, perhaps initially, if at the initial onset you are panicking, you're worried, but you deal with it, you get used to it. I feel like people often impose how they would feel, but they don't know how they would feel. And it's just, it makes no sense to me that you tell me what I need. I have been walking and people have just grabbed my arm and dragged me across the street. I've talked about this in other videos, like, oh, here, let me help you cross. Did you ask me if I needed help crossing, rather? Wow. Hashtag English major. I'm doing a good job here. But you didn't say a word to me because I'm blind. Does that negate the courtesies? Does that mean you now speak to me like a small child? Like, oh, you know, I'm so sorry. Do you need help? Rather than just like, hey, can I assist you? Yesterday I was walking to the supermarket and I was crossing the street and this lady was like, to the left a little bit, there's a car in front of you. And we got to the sidewalk. She's like, I'm sorry, was that okay that I said that? I didn't want you to be offended. I was like, no, that's perfectly fine, because maybe my cane didn't pick it up, my vision didn't pick it up, whatever the case may be. I don't know if I would have walked around it had she not told me, and I appreciated that. But that's different from her grabbing me and dragging me around the car, like, you know, you need assistance, you're gonna walk into the car, which similar things have happened. Or I was walking last week from an eye doctor appointment, I think, and this guy's like, oh, I feel so sorry for you, and I was like, don't, I feel fine. And he's like, no, you can't see, I'm sorry. But I'm not. I'm fine with it. This is how it is. This is how it's always been. I didn't lose my vision. Well, I've lost vision, and I have a blog post talking about that. And there's some emotional turmoil going on there. But this is my life, and it always makes me uncomfortable when people by turns either tell me what an inspiration I am for living. That I know that there are a lot of blind people who have other underlying issues, and I feel like that isn't always differentiated when people talk about statistics and they talk about how blind people interact and the perception that you have of blind people may come from, there may be so many different things. If you see a sighted person digging through garbage, you're just going to be like, oh, he's crazy. That sighted doesn't represent all of you guys. It doesn't represent the entire nation of sighteds, the entire billions of you versus the millions of blinds. Like, it doesn't, that one person who could memorize everything and who used echolocation isn't me. And I appreciate when people just ask me how I go about doing things. So back to the Uber driver story. If he had asked me, it's all about his tone. If he asked me what it was like traveling, if I was uncomfortable, and he was genuinely curious, or even not like he just wanted to know, that's fine. Don't scoff at me. Don't tell me that you feel sorry for me. Don't impose your own issues onto me, because we're different people. And this goes into whether or not you see me as a person or not, or just a thing, an object to be pitied. Because I feel that oftentimes when people tell me that they feel sorry for me, they don't wonder about my life. It's just blindness. I am my blindness to most people. I am my vision or lack thereof, and that's it. You feel sorry for me because I'm blind. But sir, I'm walking from an eye doctor appointment that I scheduled and arrived at all on my own. I'm heading to music school where I'm going to sing because that's a thing that I like. I'm in school, and while, I'm definitely not the best academically, well, I'm lazy, but that's for another side. But, there's so much more to my life, and you saying that you feel sorry for me just because I'm blind sort of negates all of that. Does whatever I'm doing not matter, or is whatever I'm doing extra special because I'm blind and doing it? Is Sally Sighted, the writer, is she less inspiring because she's not blind? Perhaps her stories are better written than mine, or perhaps she had a really difficult life with regard to family, or maybe she dealt with homelessness or something. Who knows? But my story is more empowering because I'm blind. And while I've certainly had my issues, like familial issues or whatever the case may be, I haven't suffered any intense hardships. You're only feeling bad for me for something that I can't control and that I'm perfectly fine with. People often ask me, would I have a surgery to get 20/20 vision? But if it's a high-risk surgery and I could lose the vision that I have now, I don't think I would do it because I'm content with the vision I have now. And, 20/20 isn't something that I aspire to. At the very least, I'd like to have more vision than I have now, perhaps more vision, the same level of vision that I had when I was younger, so that I'm able to read money, and I still use a cane, but there were certain, landmarks that were easier to notice. I noticed things at a farther distance. But 20/20 having quote-unquote perfect vision, I would do air quotes, but I'm holding my microphone with one hand, so I can't. And just doing one-sided air quotes just feels weird, which I almost did, that's why I paused. But, what was I talking about? Wow, I have the attention span of a banana, guys. Oh, yeah. So, just that, no, I lost it. Alright, it's completely gone. But overall, all of this ranting and rambling to say that I'm not just my blindness. My blindness is another aspect of me. Afro-Caribbean American, coppery hair, blue eyes, blind, writer, musician, all of that. It doesn't, blindness isn't me. And to say that to blind people, to assume that that's the only thing going for them is really frustrating. I think the best way to go about things is to ask a question. If you ask whether or not your intentions are pure, well, yeah, if your intentions are pure, that's the best. But if you ask a question, you'll be answered. You might be hit with a snappy response because oftentimes the way you phrase a question is so important. Rather than saying, you shouldn't be walking around the city, ask, how are you doing this? Or, someone asked me, how do I know when I can cross the street? perfectly reasonable question. I listened to the traffic patterns, and they were like, oh, that makes sense. I never thought about that. And there's so much that you may end up learning rather than making your own assumptions or imposing your beliefs onto us, imposing how you think you would feel, which you don't even know for certain. Woo, that was a lot. I think this title, it devolved from what this was originally supposed to be. But I hope you can go with some takeaways. If not, just enjoy, like my rant, subscribe so you can watch some more rants, give me comments and ask me questions, that I can answer in non-ranting form if you genuinely want to know. And I will leave you with a parting question. I created a poll on Twitter last week that didn't get too much buzz, but whatever, I'll try it again sometime soon. But I asked, would you rather be legally blind and have color vision? Because I know that many sighteds think that colors are the biggest thing, and my friend who's colorblind would rather have 20/20 vision than be able to see colors. So would you rather be legally blind and have color vision, or be have 20/20 vision and be colorblind? Let me know in the comments below. Alright, have a good night. I need some water.